Okay, so with a million tabs like a conductor, we've got Leena Minifie who's going to talk a little bit about virtual reality and how nonprofit organizations have been playing with this. I'm going to get out of the way because honestly, I don't understand. I want to learn a whole lot today.
Thank you, Eli.
Oh, and sorry, if you just want to take the mic for the people in the back.
Yes, I'm going to take.
You might have to
take
flip the switch up.
Hello.
Love
there
it.
we go. Hi everybody, my name is Leena Minifie. I am a freelance digital consultant as well as comms director for an amazing art gallery called Grunt Gallery, if you guys know about that. I'm also on the board for Web of Change, if you guys have heard about this digital conference that we do sometimes in Vancouver, but it's international now. I'm going to talk to you a bit today about VR. So I'm Tsimshian, and that's a tribe from up north, near Prince Rupert and everyone knows Haida Gwaii, and also British. My interest in immersive sort of experiences began as I grew up as a dancer, actually. So I was a hip-hop, breakdancing B-girl up in North Small, Kitimat, rural. And I really started to get into film and video when I moved to Vancouver in 2001 and went to film school. And I always think of immersive experiences as really full-body experiences that can really change our view and perspective of things, and potentially can change our view about each other and the world. So I'm putting a lot of hype onto 360 and what it may or may not be able to do for us. But I have some good examples and some examples that are just more funny than good. So that being said, I'm going to go to the PowerPoint now. So
The button right above you.
yes, I'm trying to go view, and I'm trying to go back. Okay. So I went to school at Santa Fe. Does everybody know where Santa Fe, New Mexico is? I went to school actually to an indigenous tribal college after film school. I decided to go there because of the amazing facilities that are better than any of our Canadian art institutes, but it's called the Institute of American Indian Arts, and it's been there for a long time teaching indigenous arts, except for now it has a 360 full dome that you can use. It has a room that's for 3D printing that can print the size of a car vehicle. It has a foundry, a metal foundry that can build up to 2 to 3 stories of metal sculptures now. So we'll never find these kind of facilities in Canada, unfortunately, but I found them in Santa Fe. And Santa Fe is one of the most amazing places for tech, and they have an interactive conference every year for interactive art specifically. So when I took 360 Dome courses, basically 360 and VR are the same thing. You just like take your 360 video, you put it in glasses, voila, you're in another world. So I don't have those glasses here, but the cost of this stuff has come down a lot since I was even in school 5 years ago. Those cameras would cost up to $10,000 for a 360 camera. This is $200. So I think this is why it's coming up in 2018, why people are more using these kind of things. I was also a journalist for CBC and APTN as well as CTV at one point in my life. And I think it's kind of counteracting sort of like these ideas of fake news with a 360 camera that you're just setting up when you're in an environment and a geography and somebody goes in with you. You can't really edit or fake things in a 360 way. The editing is quite intense. So I feel like this can actually bring an answer to fake news, and that we can give experiences to people where they can see for themselves, and it's not sort of editorialized. So I'm going to show a piece that happened here in Canada, actually. I just want to talk about what virtual reality is used for now. In 2017, hopefully what virtual reality is going to be used for this year. So Impossible to Contain is up here. Oops. And it's on an ad right now. Here we go.
This is a tragedy that people have warned about for a long time.
Prince Rupert traffic, Nathan East Stewart, good morning. We have run aground here. We had a complete valve failure in the engine room of our one starboard tank. And as a result, our bilge is filling with fuel. We also had another breach on the starboard side bulkhead where we're taking on more water. Levels in the engine room are coming up to the generator.
As you can tell, the 360 is not working on this, right?
Too long here, we're going to lose power.
I'm running out of time, so.
I was born a few miles from here in Bella Bella.
So Zoe Hopkins is a filmmaker. She's Celtic.
This is
She's from Bella Bella.
the big city,
She
600 kilometers
actually
from
asked her to write an
Vancouver.
article when
A
the
whole
spill
day by
happened.
ferry.
And actually, she got
It's
money
remote.
to go back and do a 360
This is
journalism piece
Hipso
for CBC
territory.
about the oil spill and how
Our
it affected the
families,
tribe and
our
the First Nations
songs,
there.
and our culture.
So essentially, the oil spill had affected their food collecting resources. Still to this day, things aren't clean right now. So I feel like this is an engaging way to kind of show people, especially in remote areas, where the land and people are so connected to the land and the space, and that the geography actually affects their everyday, to be able to kind of translate this story to people who are somewhere else in the world. Oops, that's not mine. This is really fun. Somebody should drive for me today.
All right, Anna, tell me where you need me to be.
I'm gonna go to Standing Rock next.
Got it.
Okay. Sorry, it's hard to do this at the same time. So I happened to be at Standing Rock. I was living in Minnesota working for a digital agency, and I got to go up to Standing Rock a few times, and I did numerous reporting. I just used my cell phone because everything out there was really hard to get in, especially passing through like a National Armed Guard checkpoint. It was really insane. But this piece came out from Standing Rock from the New York Times that I really think is important, because to really experience it, you kind of have to be there. Like, what is it like living there? What is it like every day? And this VR piece from New York Times came out. The cameras were a little bit low grade as far as like low res, but it shows kind of like the day in the life of what it was like out there, just to be just like working really hard for your food, making sure that you're warm, doing fires, having meetings, doing ceremony. It was a space that you couldn't really tap out of. You had to be an active participant or not be there at all. So. Yeah.
Way back, Sitting Bull time, there's a prophecy told that the black snake will be coming. So everybody was aware of it, and they didn't know
Down
what.
a little bit.
Sure.
We have like 3 minutes.
Fight for this, it's my children's, and it's a way of life that I've always lived, and I think they have a chance. They should have the same opportunities as I do.
What really turned Standing Rock around was that Myron Junie and a bunch of people that I actually knew before Standing Rock had actually brought in drones and were taking footage, even though those drones are being shot down regularly by cops and the army, and phone data was being taken up, and there was helicopters and like army tanks. People had brought in technology in order to document this. Without that documentation, people wouldn't have actually believed that this happened. So the VR to me is a real experience again that you can't really deny that experience when you're seeing fully the effects of oppression and racism and colonialism in practice. Can I go to? I'm going to show you a funny one to end with, I guess.
Sure.
U-turn.
Yep, got it.
Yes. So U-turn. I might have time for one more if you guys want, but U-turn is kind of this funny one. If you want to talk to your staff about microaggressions and basically gender bias in the workplace, they decided to put together a whole VR component to give you a perspective about what it's like to be a woman, to hear gender bias things, misogynist things, sexist things in the workplace. So, if you want to play that.
Do you think it could be a SQL injection attack?
This is mission critical. All of our jobs are on the line.
It could take us hours, days, even to get the site back up online.
If we don't get our site back up and running, this whole new venture is going to go down faster than a bitch in heat at the dog park.
Good for her. I'm sure she's happy being a stay-at-home mom. It's a lot less stress.
Hey, people might actually have to start talking to each other again.
So basically, you can see from a male perspective, but if you shift your head left,
Looks
you
like our
can see
backup
from a
idea is
female
upstairs.
perspective.
Speak with him, please.
Damn, dude, Tinder's down too. How's my date gonna find me? Hey, somebody get...
So it's a little bit ridiculous, but I think that if you can sell your HR and kind of doing VR to help your staff, you must have a lot of money. And I think there's just one more I wanted to show from, is there time? I guess we're over time.
You got 1 minute.
Can we do one more? Okay. Sorry, this is a community announcement. That's where I'm from, you guys. Where is the... Looking ahead, is that? I think the site is open actually, but scroll down. So this is just recently released. Basically, they actually have physical. They have physical goggles. You know those viewfinders that you go to tourists and you kind of put your coins in? They've set up a few of these viewers in California to kind of look like what happens when climate change it really affects the future. And so they have these basically 3D goggles that you can see on these metal glasses, where you can go in and see, like, take your eyes off and see, like, oh, this is what the landscape looks like. Oh, this is what it looks like underwater. I think this is the most interesting one. It was just released last week. Okay.
Figured it out. Maybe everything is too complicated for me.
So this is kind of the before and after what you see, looking into the goggles. I think it's actually a really effective way. I think we should probably do this in Richmond and Delta, as far as anybody wants to pick up a project. Because climate and water rising is really going to affect a lot of us, and we all are working on some environmental campaigns, I'm sure. And yeah, so look ahead. That was done and launched maybe like last Wednesday or Thursday. So it happened to be good timing for today. So you can get yourself, I said, like a little camera for $200. And I'm starting to use it for my gallery to document installations. And do you have any questions?
Will you be able to join us for the post-event social?
Yes, I'll come
Well,
for the
this
social.
is giving me a perfect opportunity to go a little deeper. Well then, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leena.